Y'all, I feel like the Trisha Paytas and James Charles beef is about to reignite right now. And y'all, I'm sorry, but I'm living for it, okay? Because if you guys do not recall, a few years ago, I want to say maybe it was in like 2021, James Charles and Trisha Paytas, y'all, they were beefing it on TikTok. And I was like low-key super entertained. Like I was sitting back with my popcorn like, oh, damn, what are they going to say about each other next? Like low-key, they were kind of like hidden underneath the belt. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, I'm kind of living for this messiness. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that messiness is like, I don't know. It's kind of like died down, okay? And yes, maybe that's a good thing, okay? However, at the end of the day, I feel like obviously we all turn to social media for entertainment. It's like our new version of, reality TV. And I'm like, damn, if they're beefing low key, it's kind of entertaining. And I'm sorry, but low-key, they do, have a lot of dirt on each other. I do have to say this, though. I am actually very surprised that Trisha Paytas is speaking out about this topic right here, because I do think that she has really tried to keep everything very PG. And I think that she has really been laying low of like ruffling feathers with people. And I gotta keep it with you guys, okay? Even if you guys don't recall, like when she had that little bit of a situation with Michaela Nogueira, I'm like, y'all, she kind of like backed down from it and kind of made, I wouldn't say like a full apology video about it, but she did low-key apologize about it. And I'm like, y'all, I watched her whole podcast when she did speak out about the Michaela Nogueira situation with her husband Cody and him relapsing in sobriety. She literally talked about it just like everyone else was. And Michaela got out there on the internet and cried as if it was some big deal that she was just talking about it. And everything that Trisha said was very positive. So I'm like, why would Trisha get out there and like feel bad about it? Like every other news outlet out there, you guys can literally Google it, okay? Like every other media outlet was talking about it. Like obviously that's just what us as humans do. We talk about a situation that somebody puts out there. And I was like, why would Trisha get out there and actually like sit there and like, I don't know if you guys remember, she was like sitting in her closet or reorganizing stuff. And I'm like, why would you get out there and like make that video low-key like apologizing? Like honestly, if I were her, I'd have been like, I didn't say anything wrong. Everyone else is talking about this topic and it's not that big of a deal. But I think Michaela obviously took it as an opportunity to like victimize herself and get people like on her side, because then everyone was calling Trisha Paytas a bully, So that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of surprised that she's even talking about this James Charles situation, because I do think that it is like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit scary, I guess I would say, for her, because I feel like now she has had such like a good rebranding. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like now she's like known to be so wholesome and entertaining and just like, without being like in any type of drama, which by the way, recently, I'm thinking I might make a video about this, but I don't really know. I'm trying to gather my information, but a lot of people are saying that like she's getting called out right now because she like did this reality TV show in like Israel, that she's trying to get them to like, ban like the show or like blur her face out of the show. Ethan Klein had made a podcast talking about it, and I was like, I just don't feel like I'm enough like educated about this, you know what I mean? Or educated enough, about this to talk about it. But I'm like, oh damn, it seems like a lot of people will not like that too. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, if you guys did not watch my original video talking about these allegations that are coming out with James Charles, I will give you guys a little bit of context, okay? Within the clip that I played from you guys, for you guys, from the Just Trish podcast, I'm gonna like speed it up and cut it up, you know what I'm saying? Because it is pretty long. It's about 8 minutes long, but they will give you a little bit of context within there. But I mainly want to focus on Trisha Paytas' response to this topic, because I gotta say, y'all, I just kind of thought that she wouldn't even talk about James Charles no more, okay? After that last time that James Charles got out there and was just, letting her have it. Because if I'm being so fair with you guys, he has a very controversial past. She has a very controversial past. Like, low-key, they both have a controversial past. So I'm like, damn, like, they be hitting below the belt. Like, who's going to be the winner here? In my personal opinion, I think that everything that Trisha Paytas has done is, this is just me, okay? I think it's forgivable. Do you know what I mean? James Charles, on the other hand, like, y'all, I don't know how like some lawsuit has not been filed. I don't know how, there hasn't been some type of reports or something. You know what I mean? Because like this is going on and on and on. And the fact that there's like actual proof and evidence to this, I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I don't really think that's forgivable. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be the, what do they call it? Like the judge, the jury, and the executioner here or whatever. But I'm like, I don't know, y'all. This is just seeming a little heinous if you ask me. But anyway, she's talking about the topic. Let me give you guys a little bit of context, okay? So this guy, Ethan Redhead, came forward. If you guys didn't check out the video, which I'm sure you guys probably had, okay? But I'm just going to say it really, really briefly. He came out years ago, and he is coming out now to tell his story about James Charles texting him while he was actually only 14 years old, okay? By the way, too, I forgot to mention, I am filming these videos back to back, and I completely forgot to mention within that video that he acknowledged that James knew his age at that time, okay? And I don't know how, and I'm mad at myself that I forgot to even say that within that video. That to me is a really big deal, okay? Because I did mention within that video, I was like, you know what? Me talking about this whole topic in the very beginning when all these allegations were coming out, not with just him, but with several other guys, it was like very convoluted. Everything was just so all over the place that I was like, I don't know what to believe, because, somebody did come out and actually admit to lying about their age. this guy had said that he was 14 years old. Like, James knew that he was 14. So that's where I'm like, okay, y'all, this is getting a little sinister over here. I'm so mad at myself for forgetting to mention that within that video, but I am pre-filming today, so I'm like, oh, I got a lot of topics in my brain right now. So anyways, he's getting out there and he's talking about it yet again, and Trisha Paytas obviously is reacting to it and kind of, you know, speaking out about it, which low-key I'm kind of glad that she is. It kind of shows that, okay, at least she's not trying to stay on everyone's good side, you know what I mean? Because when it comes down to commentary and podcasting and things like that, at the end of the day, sometimes you're going to have to talk about some very controversial topics. And if you get on somebody's bad side, you get on somebody's bad side. It's just the name of the game. Obviously, when you're talking about these topics and you don't agree with what somebody did, like, that's just what it is. Do you know what I mean? You can't sit over here and be peachy keen and friendly with everybody. Do you know what I mean? Because when somebody does something so completely wrong, obviously, like, your audience is going to want you to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, oh, I'm glad that she actually is speaking out about it. But I do, if I'm being honest, okay, I do think that she was very light with it, okay? So I do want to go to play the clip to where Oscar is kind of like explaining it to her. By the way, this is a small clip of it because even the clip that I saved from TikTok, it's 8 minutes long. And I'm like, damn, I'm going to have to chop that up a little bit. So if you guys are interested, you guys can obviously check out her podcast to hear fully what she had to say about it. But I will, for the most part, try to get her full response in there so that you guys can hear what she has to say. Check it out.
James Charles.
Yes, well, an influencer came forward with his story about James Charles making sexual advances on him allegedly when he was 14 years old, and this was back in 2020. Yes.
This is new? This came out new recently?
So his name is Ethan Rhett. He's an influencer. He just brought this up. I guess he's been talking about it a couple times. I feel like it kind of reminded me of almost like the Adam McIntyre Colleen thing where, like, you know, brought it up, but then it got originally when Adam brought up the underwear, getting sent the underwear, like it just got like squashed and, you know, Adam got ridiculed. And it didn't like turn against Colleen until later on when there was like other things to corroborate it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of because he has tried talking about it a couple times. He tried talking about it back in 2020 when it was happening because he was 14 at the time, but he was amassing like a TikTok following. Like he had around 600,000 followers in 2020. He claims that back when he was 14, James had liked, commented, and followed him from one of his TikToks. Ethan claims that James also like FaceTimed him. Again, at the time, James was born in 99, so he would have been 21 and Ethan was 14. So, yeah, Ethan claims that James would like FaceTime him and they would talk. And then after a few days, it would turn more aggressive. So Ethan claims that on Snap, he would wake up and then see photos of James's like privates and butt and him in the shower is what Ethan says. James allegedly started threatening him. It was like, well, if you do or say anything, then everyone's going to know that you're gay and that you're in the closet, et cetera, et cetera.
Gosh.
Yeah, so these are all the claims. So there's been a few times he, again, tried to come out with this when he was younger at 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
And then I guess earlier this year, he also tried to come forward and talk about it. But the videos got deleted. I believe it was after, timeline-wise, like around-ish the time of the Kayla Malik, James Charles situation. But the videos got taken down for bullying. His families were getting threats about him being in the closet. They were doxing him.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, he just got a lot of hate and backlash. He shows on his TikTok like different email exchanges with the lawyer that he was working with at the time to kind of validate like, yes, this actually happened in 2020. Like look at the back and forth with this lawyer. The lawyer that he was working with was in contact with he lives in Frisco, so he was like with Frisco PD.
Oh my gosh.
And they were gonna start like looking into it, but then he was getting so much hate and backlash that he got, again, he was 14 at the time this allegedly happened, so he was like intimidated that he like ghosted the lawyer and ghosted the PD and like dropped everything because he was like too scared of all the hate that he was getting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he's now where he's sharing this on TikTok?
Yeah, so now he's been sharing this on TikTok, and again, so there was those receipts that I provided, and then he had a couple other small things, and he said that he is in the process of like recovering more because it's 5 years ago now, so he's lost some. Again, it's obviously these are like unsubstantiated because James has not responded.
Okay, I'm gonna be so for with you guys after rewatching that clip back right now. I'm like, it's primarily just Oscar talking about it. Okay, like every now and then she would chime into the information that he is giving. I didn't watch the full podcast episode, just letting you guys know, but from that clip right there of the topic of conversation, I'm like, okay, maybe low key she didn't really speak out about it too much. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you, this is just my opinion. I think now that she has such a wholesome image, I think that she really is like, walking very carefully, okay? Like, she's like, oh, damn, let me not say this, let me not say that, because I think that she is obviously like, you know what, I got so many brand deals now. She's working in, Broadway shows. She's working on TV shows. Like, I think that she is probably trying to go about this the more, like, politically correct way. Do you know what I mean? As to where if this was Trisha from probably like 2 years ago, like, oh, she would have like been speaking out about it. But either which way, I'm glad that she still put it on there. Do you know what I mean? As a topic of conversation, because I really do feel like obviously a lot of people out there don't want to talk about this. Like, let's keep it real, okay? I'm not judging just yet because this is barely coming out, but I do every now and then watch Manny MUA and Laura Lee's podcast, and I'm like, since they talk about pop culture stuff and they talk about, you know, some influencers, I'm really curious to see if they're going to talk about this. Do you know what I mean? So even though I got to keep it with you guys, I'm like, okay, Trisha Paytas didn't really say much, and I do think that she was over here like, oh my God, let me mind my P's and Q's or whatever the hell the saying is. Y'all know I just be saying these damn sayings that I hear from people and I don't even know what the hell they mean. But, you know, I feel like she's over here like, let me just walk on eggshells and let me not say anything too much. You know what I mean? I still have to say, hey, at least she did that. As of right now, unlike, you know, Laura Lee and Manny MUA, I feel like they kind of will avoid this topic because if I'm just keeping it a buck, like they've avoided it the whole entire time. Do you know what I mean? Which I think that they want to stay on James Charles' good side, which to me, sometimes I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm so sorry, but sometimes you got to burn some bridges. You know what I mean? Like sometimes some people just aren't good people. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, putting the story out there is a little bit more important. Another thing I forgot to mention, y'all, okay, is, damn it, in that video, okay, that I had filmed, I love how I said too that I was like taking these Let Me Focus gummies and I'm like, maybe they are not helping me focus whatsoever, okay? I did forget to mention that he did like send him a screenshot or not a screenshot, sorry, a Snapchat, and he had put on there 4 years. And the guy Ethan was alluding to the fact that he was saying, oh, just like in 4 more years, basically saying, oh, and like 4 years when he's 18 years old, okay? Which I don't know, y'all. That 100% could be taken out of context. Obviously, James Charles could have been saying like, oh, he's been doing makeup content for 4 years. Or he could have just said, I've been living in LA for 4 years. Like 4 years could have been anything. However, obviously, I'm obviously saying that because y'all know me. I try to look at every side of the story over here. But let's go ahead and keep it real. If this guy is 14 years old and he's saying 4 more years, it's kind of like, or 4 years, that is a little peculiar. That is a little concerning. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, it could be a little bit, you know, I don't know. It could be a red flag there. You know what I mean? Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.